Alrighty. We're getting a little bit of a late start, but that's all right. I'm glad everyone showed up today, and we're really excited to have everyone here. As most of you know, in 2019 I started a Facebook group called Chattanooga Film Club, and after December of 2021 we had our first mixer, and we've been doing it every month since then. So the whole purpose of this is to basically unite and strengthen the local film community. So I was wondering, those of you who are familiar with it, how do you feel about how we've been doing so far as reaching our goal? Do you think this has been a good thing for Chattanooga? Raise your hands. Awesome. Okay, so does anyone have any questions or ideas or concerns that you want to talk about later this evening? I'm sure there's some ideas we have. So you'll have an opportunity to do that at the end. But first we're going to have some speakers. And let's see, I'm just going to read this thing that Jeremy wrote out. So he says, tonight is about the civic side of filmmaking, how we as a community can affect change and development and grow a film industry in Chattanooga. We brought together pillars of our community that have done tremendous things to shape what we have done and who have laid a foundation for us to build on. From the state of Tennessee, Gisela Moore, can you wave? Or you stand up for a second. Just let him see where you are. So she's with the Tennessee Entertainment Commission. From the city of Chattanooga, we have Carmen Davis. Stand up. And she's the head of Department of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy. And then we have Chris Holey with the Chattanooga SE Film Commission. And we are also honored to have Bob Culkeen, President of and CEO of WTCI, our local guest station. And Sean Townley, VP of Content and Distribution for WTCI. So our first speaker of the evening is Chris Dortch. He's the founder of the Chattanooga Film Festival. And this is the Chattanooga Film Festival is referred to as Chattanooga's film mixtape, Chattanooga Film Festival. Chris?
Yeah.
Go ahead and stand up. Yeah, here you go. And you're our first speaker, so come on up. Help me welcome you.
I'm gonna... Oh, look at that. My mom called me right as I walked up stage. I bet she was going to wish me good luck. This is going to go well. As the gentleman here with the Film Guild tonight said, I'm Chris Dortch from the Chattanooga Film Festival. Before we get started, I did want to thank all of you for being in this room. It's been a long journey to make the film community in Chattanooga gel in a lot more cohesive ways. And what these gentlemen are doing, I think, is very important work. And it's great to see all these butts and seats for a very good cause, I believe. And to give you guys just a bit of background on CFF, the Chattanooga Film Festival, if you aren't that familiar with us, and a few things, little accolades that we're very proud of. Our festival just turned 10 years old, and with those just 10 years under our belt, we've been called the Southern Sundance by Southern Living magazine. We've been named 4 times by Movie Maker magazine as one of the 30 best genre film festivals in the world. And in 2022, they upgraded that for us and gave us an even more significant honor, naming us one of the 25 coolest film festivals in the world, which is something we don't believe is true, but we're very proud of. We're also one of Film Freeway, which is the world's largest film festival submission platform's top 100 best viewed film festivals in the world, which is extremely wild to consider because over 11,000 festivals worldwide use that platform. So that's something that's means an awful lot to us. And we think the secret to our success has honestly been a combination of eclectic film programming that doesn't shy away from showcasing the fun, popcorn-driven genre cinema that movie fans of all ages flock to, but also kind of creating a culture of kindness, inclusivity, and accessibility around every inch of the festival, which we very carefully try to curate. In 2020, our commitment to accessibility took a few steps further than we ever imagined it could when the global pandemic shut down film festivals and movie theaters worldwide. When that occurred, we were a day away from announcing our 2020 lineup. And I pretty much had resigned myself to go into the depression hidey hole for the rest of that year. Thought we were going to cancel the event, and what wound up happening is we were contacted by the folks at Microsoft. We were chosen out of all the film festivals in the world to, with Microsoft's help, their software, and a bit of funding, become the first ever fully virtual festival that was staged. And we didn't just try to do that with the films. We tried to, you don't have to clap for me. It feels good, but you don't have to. We tried to completely translate what we think is special about film festivals to the virtual realm. That meant that we weren't just putting a bunch of VOD titles up. It wasn't a Netflix situation. Every live event, every workshop, we even attempted virtual after parties, and it went incredibly well. And at the end of that experiment, we found out something really amazing. Our audience overnight had pretty much quadrupled. Suddenly, not just the people we could reach with our minimal marketing budget around the region were speaking about the festival. We had folks in all 50 states tuning in. And that's something that has led us to continuing to present the festival in a hybrid format. We get just as many people from around the US as we do from the region now. And that's something that's been a lot to us, and it's been hugely key to our growth. That first virtual year was kind of wild, by the way. We had absolutely no idea what we were doing. Microsoft, as you can imagine, is a very big company, so we had to get 10 or more departments approval for every decision was made. So there was a lot of things we didn't tell them when we officially broadcast. What we did was we approached the entire year as if we had been given the keys to a pirate TV station. We brought in our own Dracula-esque horror TV host, a gentleman named Professor Morte, who himself is a talented special effects artist, and we staged a full-on virtual version of the fest, and it went so well that it's truly gotten us some of the biggest accolades, including that World's Coolest list since. And that's something that we're never going to turn our back on now. We've learned accessibility is a key to the future of film festivals. And with even festivals like Sundance embracing that change, I think it's something that we're very proud to be pioneers of. And we're still shocked that that was actually a call from Microsoft and they didn't just want me to buy a bunch of Walmart gift cards and send them to them. Let's see. We talked about kind of all of the things that we've done in terms of the virtual experiment and the history of the festival and all the things that we've done for filmmakers around the country and worldwide. But a key and vital part of the Chattanooga Film Festival since year one has always been our Tennessee Filmmaker Showcase. And I have to give Gisela and the TEC a bit more love here because since year one, they've had our back on this project and on this initiative. They have always supported both our film education events, which we work very hard to get the funding every year to make completely free. And always, no matter how large the festival gets, having a huge showcase of local talent, because we believe one of the most important things is putting our local talent on the same stage as all of the filmmakers and guests that we bring in throughout the world. On that film education tip, just this year, we had the opportunity to present a screenwriting pitch competition, which has become something of a tradition. We had 2 Emmy-nominated filmmakers, actually the co-creators of the long-running HBO Tales from the Crypt series, co-hosted that with us. We did a great event with the folks at Seed and Spark about the importance of fundraising and budgeting for indie projects. It's been a huge thing to me because I'm a proud film school dropout, not something I would encourage the rest of you to do, by the way, but it worked for me. To give practical film education as a part of every year's festival. I went to film school and I left with a lot of theory and things that I wasn't practically able to apply. And each year the classes, workshops, and initiatives that we try to present are things that we hope that people can literally hit the ground running with. And a good example of that is one of the filmmakers that was in one of our short blocks this year had a film that was originally pitched and developed through one of our screenwriting workshops a few years prior to that. So it's great to see these people actually going out and making their films with the inspiration that the festival has afforded them and the contacts it's afforded them. So on that note, with all of you in this room being very much part of the local filmmaking community yourself, because you made the effort to be out here tonight, I do want to offer something to you. And that's if you have a film that you'd like to submit to the festival this year, we normally charge a small submissions fee, although that is discounted for Tennessee filmmakers. If you have a film and you're in this room, please come and talk to me. I'd like to give you a waiver code, so you can send that our way for free. We do try to have a multi-year relationship with every film and filmmaker that is a part of the festival. So once you've screened with us once, we never make you pay to submit again. We're curious and excited to see the content that you bring us into the future. And I see a lot of folks in this room that have honestly been part of our extended family. Jan Bramlett, who I'm sitting in front of right here, literally bled for our festival. You got caught. You got some shrapnel year one, went to the hospital and was back smiling and helping folks find their way into movies an hour later. So there is an incredible community of kind-hearted folks in Chattanooga that have made this project grow and grow and grow. And now with things like the Filmmaker Guild happening, I'm really excited about the future of that. And that's also led us to kind of now dipping our toes into the waters of filmmaking ourselves. Through some help with I mentioned the folks at Microsoft, they helped us create a filmmaking initiative that to date has allowed us to help out with the productions of 2 films. One is a movie called After Midnight, which had its premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival after receiving some post-production services and things from Microsoft. Most recently, I acted as an associate producer, and we got 50% of the funding for a science fiction film called Something in the Dirt from Microsoft. That movie met its premiere at Sundance, and now the filmmakers have gone on to direct episodes of Marvel's Loki and Moon Knight series. Those are guys that are now part of the board of directors of the festival and are helping us make sure that we're steering this thing in a way that makes not just sense for local filmmakers, but keeps our eye on the prize of truly making this thing one of the most special film festivals in the country, in the world. We hope to live up to those movie maker accolades. And again, means a whole lot to have you guys out here tonight. Thank you for listening to me yammer for I don't even know how many minutes now. And one final thing I will say, our festival is entirely volunteer driven. Pretty much nobody takes a dollar to do what we do. Every dollar we raise goes to the staging of the event. And along those lines, we live and die by the incredible core of volunteers we have. And I've got our volunteer coordinator, Sam Elder, right here to give you guys a bit more information about how you might volunteer for the festival or be a part of it if that's something that you're interested in going forward. I should also tell you that we have started embracing virtual monthly programming. So if you're interested in being a part of our regular programming, we've started a Patreon community we call the Double Secret Cinema Society. So called because every month we showcase a secret screening of a film. Now, that sounds like Russian roulette, right? You don't know what you're getting yourselves into, but we try to curate these so carefully that we've yet to have a complaint. No one has left us yet. And it's going very well. It's given us a chance to showcase some of the rarest and most interesting pieces of film ever made. And we just this past week did a really great one. And that's an initiative that continues to grow. And if you want to find us on Patreon, you can opt in for those monthly screenings. We are also bringing back our Halloween horror movie marathon, which is happening on October 13th. And tickets are available for that now, too. So we hope to see you guys a lot more. Please introduce yourselves. We want to be a resource and something that you're legitimately proud to have exist in your town. And I hope that we can keep it rolling for another 20 years. And after that, I plan to die. So I'm going to leave you guys on that note. Have a great night, and thanks for having me.
So I'll keep this very brief. Side note, the entire reason I work with the festival now, I was actually just telling Chris this, the entire way I got into this festival was because I went to actually several of those film education classes. And the only reason I went to those was because they were free. And I was a broke college student and I was able to go. So to the festival and to the Tennessee, to the TEC, all of them for making that stuff free is just an invaluable resource for filmmakers in the area. So like Chris said, I'm the volunteer coordinator with CFF, and volunteering with CFF is not going to be like any other gig you get volunteering. It's a ton of fun.
What do you mean? We have free granola bars. So
yes,
plant that in your head.
We have all the granola bars. We cleaned out Sam's Club. So just want to let y'all know that if that is something you're interested in helping put on this festival, please reach out to me. I can give my email to anybody who wants it, anything like that. It is a really great experience, not only for personal growth, but also for professional growth. As everyone here probably knows, this is an industry of networking, and it's an industry of who do you know? And you will meet some really great filmmakers who do a great job of supporting each other. In fact, this year at the festival, we had a couple of filmmakers come in. They both screened movies, had never met each other before they attended CFF. And then when one of the filmmakers, they had their LA premiere, correct?
They did a cast and crew screening, and everybody turned up.
Yes.
They've made so many new friends at the festival, they sold out their cast and crew screening.
Yeah. So you do meet some really great people, some really great filmmakers who just, everyone just wants to share each other's work and, just consume each other's work. So it is a really great experience. So if you are interested in that, please reach out to me, to Chris, any of us will be happy to help you with that. I'm pretty sure that's all I have. So, and you guys brought in another friend of yours. Who's this?
This is Dustin Kramer, everyone.
Dustin, no pre-prepared remarks. Great.
I prepared nothing. I prepared nothing. I'm Dustin Kramer. I'm the senior features programmer and the virtual events coordinator for CFF. Like Chris said, if you're a filmmaker in this room, imagine there's a bunch, and you have a film ready, come see us, and we will make sure we get you that waiver code. But yes, any films, we'll be watching them. That's all.
I wish I'd embraced brevity like you had.
All right, let's give a hand for those guys. That's really neat. All right, so up next we have Culkeen. He's did I say that right? Culkeen?
Yeah.
Okay. He's the president and CEO of WTCI, our local PBS station. And he's going to give us a little bit of information about what he does. Give him a minute.
All right. Do I need that?
Test 1, 2, there it is. It's great to be here. And I think about the first time I picked up a film camera was in 1973. You guys are all younger than that. No. And, when my friends were asking their parents if they could borrow the car, I was asking my dad, could I use his 8mm film camera? When my friends were buying gas, I was buying film and process. I still have burn marks on my arm from the copy stands for the stuff I did with animation. When I think about the stories that you tell and how the technology has changed over the years, it's just pretty incredible, isn't it? So why are we here? Well, WTCI believes in working with independent producers and filmmakers. Sean Tonley is going to come up and talk about what we're doing at the station and what we want to do even more. I find it important to work with the film community. I find it important to build more nonprofit partnerships at WTCI, work with the city, all that kind of stuff that will make us a stronger station. Back here, I ran into Carrie, and Carrie here was telling me about how in Pensacola, Florida, she produced an independent program called Blue Tarps. That was hard for me to say. I'm a Bostonian. I should have said Todd. But, so little did she know that I was the general manager of WSRE that greenlit that program to get it on the air. So we met here, and that's like the fabric of who I am. I want to have independent producers feel comfortable talking with Sean and his staff and working with us at WTCI. That's really important. And Chris, you talked about your Halloween program.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched Nightmare Theater on our air?
Oh, 100%.
So the guys from Nightmare Theater were also a pirate television station on a closed circuit station. Well, we brought them on to WSRE. They're producing their 4th season. We have it on WTCI, and working with the Comic-Con folks,
Yeah,
they're going to be there.
that's great.
So they're going to be doing a presentation 7 o'clock on Saturday and a matinee. So if you guys are around, you might want to look at that.
Appreciate that.
So Sean Townley is our Vice President of Content and Distribution. He's the guy that really drives our bus as far as working with local talent and producers. And I'm going to ask Sean to come up, and he's going to talk to you about some of the things we have happening at WTCI.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Sorry, I'm a little under the weather, so sorry for the Barry White vibes. WTCI is your local PBS station, and we serve 30 counties across 4 states in the area, and we've been on the air here in Chattanooga for over 50 years. Many of you grew up with PBS, and if you watch WTCI today, you probably know us for drama programming, science and nature programming, arts programming, history programming, things like Ken Burns' News Hour, Nature and Nova, and Antiques Roadshow, and those sorts of things. And there's a lot to love, and PBS makes it available for viewers like you. But we are also local. We are a trusted voice telling the stories of our community. We're proud of our local programs. We have a program called Chattanooga Stronger Together, where we tell stories about nonprofits in the community. Our interview program, the A-List with Allison Lebovitz, is going into its 15th season. talking to fascinating local people, incredible guests from around the world. But we also have a program called Greater Chattanooga that we launched, gosh, probably 7 or 8 years ago now. It's a digital first series of short documentaries, and that's given us a chance to really tell stories that we weren't able to tell before. Half-hour slots on PBS didn't make a lot of sense to be doing short form documentaries, so we went with the digital first angle. And we've produced maybe 70 or so short documentaries over the last 7 or 8 years. And the idea of this was that after some time, when you step back and look at all of these stories, it should give you a pretty good sense of who we are as a community. And I think by and large, it's done that. There's a lot of stories out there, but we can't tell them all. So we also have been working lately with folks for distribution opportunities. Super Chief came to us with No Matter What, The Rise of Chattanooga SE, and we had that airing locally in 2021. Judy Mogul is a wonderful local artist and filmmaker. She showed me something she was working on in 2022, this incredible animated film that she put together during the pandemic. And we were able to incorporate that into our Greater Chattanooga broadcast as well. And right now, we're talking to our friends at the Pop-Up Project about possibly broadcasting their film, The Light We Share, which we had a premiere of their film and our film together at the Tivoli. We produced a half-hour making-of documentary of their film that was going on during the pandemic. Our film was called Essential. Theirs was called The Light We Share. So we're looking at possibility of having that on our air soon. And this is something, a new project that we're working on, we're excited about. It's called The Field. Recently, a potter's field was discovered that once existed in the shadow of a tuberculosis sanatorium and now basically shows no signs of being a cemetery at all. It was overgrown with kudzu and no tombstones or grave markers are seen. And the field is really, as you can see here, really challenging to access. It has an even more challenging history. We're in production on this hour-long film now, and we're in the midst of fundraising for it as well. I also wanted to tell you a little about something that we've seen at other stations. There's something going on in Vermont called the Made Here Fund. And what they've done is they've designed this to broaden and diversify storytelling in Vermont. Makers across the state were invited to apply for special funding to produce pieces, short documentaries, animated films, digital shorts, and they do television and radio, so they have some audio series as well. And we are looking at ways to bring this model of funding to Chattanooga and hope to launch a series of grants for local creators. So keep an eye out for that, and if you have questions, please let us know. And I also wanted to tell you about, if you don't have it already, you may watch PBS over the air using rabbit ears. I do. You may see us on cable, but we also have apps on all of the different devices, over-the-top devices for your television, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, that sort of thing. And if you don't already have the app, we have a QR code that makes it really easy to download. So if you'd like to scan that up, I'll leave it for a second. But the cool thing about that app is that there's all of the national programming that you know and love, but it's right alongside all of the local things that we're doing as well. So you can see Antiques Roadshow and Greater Chattanooga on that app all together. We are on Facebook and Instagram if you'd like to follow us there, learn more, and I'm happy to answer any questions anyone may have, but otherwise, I appreciate the time to tell you about what we're doing at the station. And if you would like to get in touch with me, my information's on the screen. Thank you very much.
All right, up next, we have Carmen Davis from the City of Chattanooga Department of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy. Give her a hand.
Let's see if we can make this work. Good afternoon. I'm old school. Good afternoon. I am Carmen Davis, Senior Director of the Office of Arts, Culture, and Creative Economy for the City of Chattanooga. Now, what does that mean? I don't quite know yet, but we're still figuring it out, and we're going to figure it out. But as we figure this out, I want to talk to you about how it came to be and where we're going with the office and what we hope to achieve through the office. Mayor Kelly recognizes that the arts, like filmmaking, can be a pathway to shared prosperity, also community growth and development, as well as community building and shared prosperity. We want to do things like programs like Periscope, where we're partnering with Artsfield, which is a creative entrepreneur program that you can apply for to learn how to upscale your business, whether that's funding for a project or for a studio space and things of that nature. From the music census that we just did that closed out in June, one of the biggest things that came back from that for me was we need more studio space, not just for musicians, but for people in film, for people in the visual arts as well. And so we're looking through some of the excess buildings that the city has to see if we can convert that into some sort of affordable studio space for people here in the city. The arts contribute more than $172 million annually in Chattanooga. We're not talking about the state or the country, in Chattanooga alone. And that equates to about 6,300 full-time jobs. Are any of you all full-time filmmakers in the audience? Awesome. So yeah, so you all contribute to that number, and I thank you for being part of that number. I want to give an example of how the filming industry actually impacts our city, a real life example. Tyler Perry Studios was here some months ago to film for a production that they're doing for Netflix. It's a film. Now, it was a 24-hour shoot. I'm going to let Chris get into all of those explanations about that, but it was a 24-hour shoot. I'm sure you're probably familiar with the concept. So basically, they had 24 hours where they could shoot. That does not include like building the set out or breaking the set down. So we had people in town 2 weeks prior to even filming to build out that set down at the Choo Choo and at the first Horizon Pavilion. They were here 2 weeks before any filming even happened, and then they were here another 2 weeks after. So I reached out to Gisela and I said, hey, what does that translate to in dollars for Chattanooga, that production that was here for basically 1 month or 1 day, depending on how you look at it. And it was a $250,000 impact on our city. What you all do matters, and it impacts our city in a major way. So we're looking at, again, programs like Periscope, but also looking to bring back a program that happened under Missy Crutchfield. It was a partnership with Chattanooga State. And that program is the, I'm sorry, I just went blank. The Professional Film and TV Training Program. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it was a very successful program. And so we're looking at ways to partner maybe with Hamilton County Schools, because they've reached out with an interest in having a Future Ready Institute be concentrated on film, as well as reaching out to Chat State to see if they're interested in maybe partnering again for that. We're also looking at being a film-friendly city. I spoke with the good people in Texas about their film-friendly practices and what they have going across the state. And I feel like Chattanooga can be a little bit more friendly to people in film. And so we want to help train businesses, other government entities on how to do that and make it easier for you guys and other people who come in town to film. But we also have things like our film liaison, which is Chris Holey, who's going to speak to you in just a second. So, like I said, in a year's time, we weren't able to focus on film as much as I had hoped, but this is the year for film and for music for me. So please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is cdavis, C as in Carmen, Davis, at chattanooga.gov. Again, my email address is cdavis at chattanooga.gov. Feel free to reach out to me. I would love to meet with you and talk about the progress that you're doing and ways that we can maybe connect you to help you further along your cause. Thank you so much.
I didn't bring a laptop. Sure. And this is a very important one. Gisela is going to be talking more about it. She'll show you about it. For anyone in this room who is a professional filmmaker or wishes to be a professional filmmaker, whether you are in front of the camera or behind the camera, you need to be registered on this site. This site is the directory that runs through the state office that covers the entire state of Tennessee. But if you are not listed on it, a lot of times people are going to hire people from Nashville and come to Chattanooga with them because they are listed. And that happens all the time. I see it constantly. I'll say, who's on your crew? And they'll say, we got 5 guys from Nashville. I'm like, okay. And I'll go and I'll see that nobody is listed for those jobs on this site, and you're fully qualified to do it. It is free, so there's no reason not to be on the site. This site is looked at when people call Gisela and ask her to put together a package. This site is looked at by people who are just going on to say, where should I shoot? Should I shoot in Nashville? Should I shoot in Knoxville? Should I shoot in Chattanooga? And they'll look to see what kind of crew is listed under those cities. If you're not listed, you're invisible to these companies. So to make sure we get tons of commercials. We get a lot of business out of Georgia. It's overflow from the films down there. And we get films that are being done in Tennessee. Maybe Nashville shoots a couple of episodes here. It works like that. And this is how you get on. And I'm going to start handing this around. Take a picture with your phone. On the website, I'm going to hand it. Chattanooga Southeast Tennessee Film Commission. They gave it a long name. It was started in 2006 with Mayor Littlefield and Missy Crutchfield. I started with them in 2006 before I started working with the city, and then actually became a professional liaison with them. What we do in the liaison's office, there's myself and Chris Jones, and when we get, usually it's a call from Gisela, but a lot of times directly, we'll get filmmakers looking to find out about permits, about crew, about locations in the area, just everything. And we get crazy requests too. So, and once we're working with films, we get crazy requests. But we try to find whatever it is they need or whoever it is they need and link them together. When 42 was looking at doing Chattanooga, it was one of our largest films lately. We've done several large films here. And we do student films, and we do commercials, as I said, and medium-sized films. And when they come to us, we're usually the first contact in Chattanooga, which we want to get turnaround on it fast. The movie business doesn't wait more than 24 hours and we move on. It's really crazy fast with this stuff. So with 42, they needed to find out who had Engel Stadium. That was their focus, was Engel Stadium. Was the only stadium like it in the United States. So they had looked in Bahrain, they had looked in Europe, and they were looking for a jewel box, but they were having a terrible time locating who owned it, and who owned it was kind of weird. It was actually the City of Chattanooga, the state of Tennessee, a foundation, and this high school. They all were owners of this, and we had to bring all those people together to find out what they could do, find out what the movie company could do. They had to get the state architect in because it's a historic site. So the linkages on that were like a spider web. It was crazy how many people had to sign off on things. But that's what our office did. And because of it, we got a major motion picture. And literally down to the last minute getting signatures on things, people moved mountains to make that film happen. A lot of government people, a lot of private people, a lot of people at the university. And we signed it during a tornado, which was interesting too. But that's the kind of linkages. And I'll also get, I get a call about a month ago with people wanting to know where the best places are to take a major sized RV for an RV commercial, where they can do different things, where they have an overlook, where they can park it right next to the water and put canoes in. So we're partnering with Chattanooga Outdoors, we're partnering with different cities in the area, not just Chattanooga. We run from here halfway to Knoxville, halfway to Nashville. That's our little half circle. And we get hold of those cities saying, do you have this? Is it portage? What can they do? How big a vehicle can get across that bridge? And so we put linkages together. And that is what it is. It's a liaison service. We don't do funding. We don't do hiring at all. So it's completely they saying, get together with these folks. But we're here. I have my cards here. I'm under the City of Chattanooga, so it's Holey, CHOLLEY at chattanooga.gov. And if you have any questions on anything, permits, we had questions like, where do I find a thing called a turtle? And I'm like, what's a turtle? It's a 1940s baseball practice dome. It's like see if I can find one. I found one. It was weird. It was something I'd never heard of before, but it was actually used in films here. And it had been donated by the Dodgers to high school here in town, and it was used in a film about the Dodgers, so that was pretty cool too. But we get requests for all sorts of crazy things, and we find them for people. And if we don't know the answer, we find the people that do, whether it's government or local filmmakers. I see a lot of familiar faces. I've been doing this since 2006, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of challenging. It's a lot of heartburn, but it's a great thing that we have the city supporting it. And I say supporting it again because when Mayor Burke came on board, he eliminated Carmen's office, basically. And so we kind of were floating out in the ether. We were still doing our jobs, but we didn't really have a department head focused on that. And I'm really delighted to see that department coming back. It has a focus on a very important industry. It's called the movie business for a reason. And it is one of the most profitable of art forms. And it includes all the arts. You have music, you have painting, you have dance, you have theater, all of these things in one form. And so it's very important to have the city connected to that group. And yeah, if you have any questions afterwards, I'll be happy to answer them. And I'm really glad to see everybody. We did this until 2019. We had a mixer like this at Heritage House where I work during the day. We did that for 12 years, I think.
Talking about the backlog.
Yeah, the backlog.
You've got some backlog.
Yeah, that's where I met Chris and Jan and a bunch of other folks here in the room. And we did that, and I was delighted to see this getting done because I know how hard it is to program this that you're doing tonight. This is a full-time job. And we were delighted to see someone pick that up too, because the city kept us closed for at least another year while you guys were doing this. So we're delighted to see you here, and we're here for you. Thanks.
There's two ways. This is all going to speak first.
Yeah, we'll have a Q&A with Chris and Carmen first.
Sorry, so this moment. So Carmen and Chris, can you guys come on? Hopefully you guys will have some questions for the two of them now that we know a little bit more about what's going on with the city and with the commission. I have to say, so I'm a filmmaker from Los Angeles and I just recently moved here in the last year. And it's been difficult for me as a filmmaker because I kind of felt like I was reaching out and I couldn't really find who was doing what within the city, and it was a little difficult. There was no centralized website, there was no centralized information until 8 months later or so I found out about this and came. So I think one of the questions that we're kind of curious about is we're this ragtag group of filmmakers and videographers and casting actors and different people here in the city that really want to make a difference and get more involved. I guess we want to know what is the plan to centralize this kind of activity and have something so it's a little more cohesive so that we're all very much connected to the growth of what's happening right now.
You want to take it on? Yeah.
Software.
Oh, I thought you had my yeah. So we're going through a rebranding, the entire city of Chattanooga, which includes our website as well. And hopefully, with the rebrand, it'll be a more centralized area for our culture and favorite time where people can go and look about the programming that's happening at Heritage House, who to contact, for as far as the film liaisons, all those things should be in one centralized location, hopefully with this rebrand. But the rebrand is not even expected to roll out until like March of next year. Yeah, we're going through the whole process right now.
Okay.
And we've kept because governments change over every 4 to 8 years. We've kept, and the city allowed us to keep our Facebook site, which is the Chattanooga Southeast Tennessee Film Commission. And again, most of it routes through where it's major films. They call the state office, and if it's in the Chattanooga area, they call us, or they put us together on a phone call or any of that type of thing. And that again is so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. What New Mexico had told me back when we were first starting the film commission was, don't have a listing for every city because you can get a bigger crew. You can be one crew deep, or you can be 3 crews deep, which means you can have 3 movies going on at the same time instead of 1 movie going on at one time. And that is why I really push for the state site. Because if the state site has everybody from Chattanooga there, it'll move production here. And it will also help filmmakers like you who are here already know who's in your area. A lot of our professionals, they live in Chattanooga, they work all over the world, as we know, as filmmakers work where the films are. And we have a lot of fantastic people here in town who are right now in various countries and various cities all over. But the way that we link it together here is twofold. One, contacting us directly, and two, contacting through the state of Tennessee. You talk about linking, we want Chattanooga not only to be linked within the city of Chattanooga, we want them to be linked throughout the state of Tennessee. Because that is where, Jam over in Memphis has been doing this for another 15 years longer than we have. And that was one of the first things she learned, was to get all of her crew on there. You look on that listing and it's all Memphis, and in Nashville's catching up real quick. So, yeah.
And if I can ask, I'm curious about the promotions or PR marketing that is happening within the city to let filmmakers around the country know that Chattanooga is a great option to come and find. I notice, locations, I've been to many film festivals where people are there from Utah and Aspen and different places. They're passing out cards and they're, dropping off, magazines and letting us know about their picture book of different locations and all that. Is there an effort yet to promote the city as a great option for filmmakers to come here yet?
Well, as you'll find on here, Real Scout, which is I don't want to be taking Gisela's thunder here, okay. Real Scout is where locations are put to be seen by everybody in the world, okay? And they also, the state of Tennessee attends the locations seminars, the big, I think it's in New Mexico, is that one? The expo, yeah, the huge expo. So they are our presence. We've been to them, but it really, the locations drive part of the film stuff. Incentives drive the majority of where films go for the larger films. For smaller films and medium-sized films, Tennessee is very attractive because of the incentives program we have. But if you have locations that want to be promoted, we have always told people, here you go, here's Real Scout, we can get you right on there. And Real Scout is part of this same place that you and everybody else can get listed on.
But a part two to that is that also CTC, Chattanooga Tourism Company. So we went to South by earlier this year, South by Southwest, and we learned about a couple of programs that different cities are doing around film to amplify the local filmmakers. And so we were looking to partner to do that, then their funding got altered. So I'm not sure if it's going to be able to happen in this fiscal year, but hopefully for next fiscal year, we'll have some sort of amplified program where we go out and talk about the city.
That's great.
And expand our history.
Exciting. Well, are there any questions from the group here?
How often do you update the location? How are y'all involved with keeping that updated?
Real Scout? Are you talking about updating the locations Real Scout?
I guess I'm confused about just how that gets
Okay, so
developed.
the owners of the properties put their properties up onto Real Scout. We can't just take pictures of Chattanooga and say, it's pretty, come here, because if the owner of that property doesn't want to film there, it's not going to be there, right? So it really is, and we've had people actually do that, say, I took all these pictures around Chattanooga, these would be great locations, and I'm like, who owns them? They're like, oh, like, okay, that's not helpful. If anybody has a property, and we've had many of them approach the state and say, yes, we want to get on Real Scout, they can just go right up onto there and do it. It's not something that they have to go through us with. They can be placed onto Real Scout.
Is there anything the city is doing to be proactive about encouraging locations to be headed in that direction?
So the question is, what is the city doing to help grow the locations on Real Scout?
Oh yeah, we've been pushing people to do this. When people contact us, sometimes they contact us and they say, hey, I got this cool property. And we will immediately get them linked up and onto Real Scout. And we have it on our Facebook sites and that type of thing, and then Carmen will be promoting it as well. But again, her office is just getting on board, and we've been without that office for 8 years. So that was a real to being able to promote in that manner. So yeah, when she came on board, I gave her a big hug because I am so compassionate here. And she's got the background, she's got the knowledge to head up this type of thing.
Anybody else have questions about regarding the city and the efforts the city is making? Thank you very much, because we're, if I could just speak for everyone, just to say, we are super excited that you guys are making moves on our behalf to do this in the city. That's amazing.
And so everyone knows, Guy Lita is one of our newest board members, and he's helping out with the questions tonight. So get to know him. He's a really good guy. So our next speaker is Gisela Moore from the Tennessee Entertainment Commission. Come on ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. On behalf of Governor Bill Lee and my executive director, Bob Raines, this is just an honor. Exactly. Bob Raines deserves an applause. He does. Thank you so much for having me. I have business cards up here. Feel free to grab them once I'm done. I wanted to do a deep dive. I haven't been out to Chattanooga in a while, and I wanted to show you all the resources that you have available. And it's free. And so if you don't mind, Carrie, bring up our website. And while she's doing that, I'll say the entertainment industry contributes $6.4 billion to the GDP for Tennessee, $424 million in annual gross state product produced by the motion picture video production sector. $365 million is generated in state tax revenues. Number one in the nation for total workforce. Size in the music industry, and for the first time ever, we have a music office. And a lot of people just can't believe we haven't had one. But all these years, we've been focused on what we couldn't get here easily. So film was always our focus, trying to get that industry here. Back when Governor Bredesen was in office, he asked us to come up with a plan to just get productions that we normally wouldn't have in the state of Tennessee. And so we focused on film. And so Jimmy Willer is his name, and he's our Director of Business Development for music. And so you'll be hearing about him because he's doing a little bit of a community tour. So I'm sure he'll be here. And so you know ahead of time that he's coming. But what I wanted to show you is our website is tnentertainment.com. And if you go to film and down to, we'll start with the production director. How many filmmakers or people that could be hired for crew are in the room right now? Okay, so are you guys listed? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and go into the directory. So click there and let's check out Chattanooga. So we're just going to click Chattanooga right here. And I'm sure you're going to say, oh no, we have way more people here that does production. And I agree. So that's why I'm here tonight. So as you can see, 1 of 67. So this is what we have. So when a production calls our office and they're like, we're in need of crew, and say Sydney is not available or Monique isn't available, then we're gonna have to go to Nashville or somewhere else, right? But we want the crew to come from Chattanooga. So it's so important that you list, and it's free. And some people, they do feel, you know, I'm working in the industry, I'm so busy, I have a lot going on, that they just don't have time to register, and I get it. But right now, I'm here with you, and I may meet a lot of you tonight, but my executive director isn't here right now. And so if someone asks him about somebody that's able to help out in a certain area, he's gonna go here. And it's just, I know, not representative of what's here in Chattanooga. So if you could spread the word that we need everyone to list, that would be wonderful. Phil Highland, he called our office, how long ago? 3 years ago. And he used to do logistics, and was it for Paramount? Warner Brothers, sorry. And so I immediately told him, you know, you need to list. He listed, you did list, right? Okay, let's look at Phil Highland. Yeah, so go down to keyword and just put Phil Highland. I'm going to go to another section now. Let's go to film again, and let's go to locations. Okay, we're going to search the database. Now, the database can be your home. It can be your business. We're looking for jails, schools. And the thing is, we're part of Locations Hub. So Locations Hub is global. So somebody can be in Nova Scotia and put in that we need a school in in Tennessee, and they'll come here to the to the locations library, and they'll narrow it down till they find the school they want. And if it's a school that's here, they are looking at Chattanooga. I know incentives is a big part of why productions go to a certain state, but there are a lot of people that are still looking at locations, because I do it all the time. And so put in, okay, you have Chattanooga, so this is it here. So what I'm trying to, hit search and so you tell me, I know there's a lot more that we should have probably here in the, there's 4 pages, but we're not looking for mansions either. We're not looking for all the pretty houses. We want junkyards. We want mobile home parks and creepy areas where there's a cave and, someone didn't make it out,
That's very specific.
But that's what people are looking for, filmmakers, when they call our office. And so I immediately come to the locations library, and I try to put together a package based on their script, and whatever pops up, if they're open to it. Now, I will say this, most of the filmmakers that contact our office, they already know where they want to film. They already know they're looking at Memphis or Knoxville, and the ones that do choose Chattanooga, they know, what they're looking for. And so, but a lot of times I'll send them something from an area that they didn't expect. And then they're like, okay, I'm gonna have to talk to the team, and they'll come back to me. So it's not always incentive driven, but most of the time it is. So now that you know that you can submit your home. I hope you all do that. And okay, so on submitting your home, location scouts and locations managers, I hope, are there any in the room? Okay, so how do we protect your home, right? You're gonna have to come up with something in writing. You know how it is. It doesn't matter if it's on a napkin like they say, but if you paint the wall, paint it back. You know, no smoking in my home. You have to designate that, because when the production comes in, it's a whole bunch of people that they don't know you and your particulars and all that. And we want it to be a good experience. So protect yourself. All right. So now we're going to do a deep dive into incentives. Film and incentives, please. So we're going to start with the grant, 25% grant rebate. So Tennessee offers a 25% grant rebate for Tennessee residents and Tennessee vendors. I have to brag on Tennessee a little bit, because 90 to 95% of the people that apply for this incentive are Tennesseans. We are making our own content. So I'm going to do a deep dive into this. It's kind of boring, I'm warning you, but let's talk. So go ahead and click in there.
If you're talking our language right now, it's not boring. This is money.
Excellent, excellent. So you have to have a minimum spend of $200,000, qualified Tennessee spend. So if you live right across the border and you don't have a Tennessee driver's license, that production cannot qualify your salary. You have to have a Tennessee driver's license. That's just the easiest way for us to qualify residency for that particular crew member. And so, yeah, $200,000 minimum spend. Now, some of you may say, well, my films are $50,000. There's a guy I know, and his first film was $50,000, and he said it totally sucked. But the last film he did was over $1 million, and it was beautiful. And so, you have to start somewhere, and you're gonna grow and get to that point. But the important thing is that you have to finish your projects. So, 5 years from now, you've done hopefully 5 or more films. You have to finish. That's what, if someone's gonna invest their money, they want to know that you're going to finish the project. That's very important. And so, I'm going to go through the whole process. You call our office, you'll probably talk to me. All the calls come to my phone.
I can verify this is true.
And so you have up to 120 days prior to the start of production to apply to be in the incentive program. So you don't have to use all those 120 days. But the reason you have that is because you can rack up some pre-production costs in that, if you would like. We need minimum, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks, because the contract process takes about 4 to 6 weeks, so we do that on the front end. So every week we have a grant committee meeting, and they're the ones that vote on the productions that get to participate in the incentive program. And so if you're going to apply, you have to have funding in place prior to applying, and you'll fill out Form A. So scroll all the way down to the bottom. Oh, yep. And here's Form A. Go ahead and click on that. And so tell about yourself. This is the budget portion. The Tennessee expenditures, that's what's paid to Tennessee residents and vendors. The Tennessee wages, vendor usage should all amount to this Tennessee expenditure. And then the pre-production, production, and post should equal the total Tennessee expenditures here. Keep scrolling. Yes, so right here, this is all what we need. We need the Wednesday by noon prior to that next grant committee. Detailed preliminary budget, a written description of the project, script synopsis, list of creative elements known, like maybe you know that it's the director is a Tennessee director, and that everything Tennessee sounds really, I mean, that's what they're looking for. It's not a first come, first serve type of program. We want to know that Tennesseans are being hired, that we're using Tennessee music. How many crew are from Tennessee? It matters. There was a time back in the day when a lot of those big projects that came to Tennessee would actually bring all their crew. And they would always say, we don't have cheese, our crew isn't experienced enough to be able to, hire on these productions. And so because we were so sure and went ahead and stuck it out and said, we're only paying for Tennesseans, now we have crew that can be keys on productions. So it's worth it. Okay. Okay, so your plans for distribution, and this is the most important part. You have to have a bank letter, a letter that shows that you have access to that money. Without that, we're putting the funding on the line per se. Basically, once grant committee says, yes, we're going to go ahead and approve your project into the program, we set aside that money. So nobody else can come, I don't care how big, and take that money from you. It's set aside. But we want to know that you're able to pay your crew. So we have to make sure that you have the money to get through production and post if you're deciding to go that far. And so down here, this is anyone that put money into your project, more than 20%, and then we'll sign and date it, and that's it. So if you get all that to us by Wednesday at 12 noon, that gives us at least a day to review it, and then we turn it in by Thursday at 12 noon, and then we go to grant committee and try to get it approved. So I wanted to just go through that. Does anybody have questions about the 25% grant before I move on?
Yes. Usually it's an LLC, so are you saying the LLC member needs to be a Tennessee resident, or should they do it as an individual? And then how much was paid out last year?
So it doesn't matter if you don't have to be a Tennessee company to apply. But we do recommend that you register with the Secretary of State's office in order to participate, just to do business in the state of Tennessee.
And then how much was paid out last year?
We've paid out altogether about we've received back about 1.1 billion, and we've paid out about 88 million altogether. And so we're definitely getting back a lot more than we're putting out, and so it's a good program, and the productions that use it, they really appreciate it because it's a cash rebate, so they don't have to try to sell like transfer credits or anything like that. They literally get a check, and it's automatically deposited into their account. So they really appreciate it. So we're gonna go on to the next incentive.
I have one quick question.
Mhm.
Is there a cap? That's what the state pays out.
Yes, the cap is basically when we run out of money. So if we don't have the money, it's not happening. So right now we have about 10 million. So we don't have a whole lot in the fund. And during COVID, they brought us down to our base, which was just $2 million. And we, tried our best to make it work, but we put Tennessee films first before projects from outside. So, that's, let me go to the next, wait, before I go, here's the production incentive guidelines. And you can read all about it. And you can call me anytime. My business cards are here, and I will go through everything again. I go through it over and over and over again every day, all the time. And so we can, it doesn't bother me to explain things, a lot. Let's see. Okay, so if you go down here, go ahead and keep scrolling up. And this goes into everything, all the credit requirements that we have. And it'll also tell you what's not eligible for the incentive program. If you have nothing going on, rather than watching the paint dry, just read this.
Film is exciting, guys.
So anyway, you know where it is now. Okay, so we're going to go to the next incentive. This one is a tax credit and point of purchase sales tax exemption that was passed last year. And this one, okay, so the 25% rebate, our sweet spot is 5 million and under. So if you have a project between 200,000 and 5 million, that works perfectly for Tennessee. Tennesseans are hired. And this is more for, I'd say, productions that are 16 million, 30 million, 100 million, and it can go on and on. And so the beauty of this, and Bob Raines, my executive director, this is his baby, but he came up with a plan where companies that owe a high franchise and excise tax to the state of Tennessee can get back 40% on payroll for any Tennessean, well, resident and non-resident, 40%. But then, if you go to a rural community, you can get up to 50% back on payroll. And then you match it with the point of purchase sales tax exemption on all your rentals and purchases. So that's 9.25 to 9.75% off all your rentals and purchases. And so Holland, Michigan, which was the last Nicole Kidman project that filmed in Nashville, and Clarksville, Young Rock that filmed with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Memphis, both of those projects took advantage of this. Witherspoon's company has used it. And so it works, but it's through the Department of Revenue. And so we're able to now take care of projects that have a huge budget and those that, are smaller. So just across the gamut, moving forward, other than the strike, things they should be getting better in the state of Tennessee. Last year, we had 27 projects go through the rebate program at this same time last year. And so the projects that were supposed to happen this year, they just, the strike happened and, we're in limbo. But I will say this, during COVID, and even during this time where, those bigger productions aren't really, nothing's happening there. It's our local filmmakers that are keeping everyone alive. I mean, I ran into Janelle and Charlotte with Talent Trek, and they're busy. They're super busy, and I hear that all over. And it's our local producers. So it's a small business that you have. You're entrepreneurs, and what you do matters, and it's contributing to the economy. And just don't forget that. And if you need anything, you need all this explained again, you can call me. I have one more incentive I do want to talk about, and it's a music scoring incentive. And that one, if you spend $50,000 in a Nashville studio to do a score, it doesn't matter where you're from, and you decide that you want to do the music score there, you can get 25% back. If you do the score here in Chattanooga and Memphis, you only have to spend $25,000 and you get 25% back. Now, it's not meant for the guy that's in the room by himself doing all the music. It's meant for you hire the symphony or you hire multiple bands. So we're under economic and community development. And so what matters is job creation. So, so do you have any questions? I'm trying to think if there's anything that let me look real quick and see if there's anything I left out.
Are there any plans on at the state level to try and bring in production facilities to the state? Specifically in
Always.
Chattanooga?
Always. We get calls all the time where somebody says they have investors or they're going to build a sound stage, and it just doesn't always happen. It gets everybody excited for a little while, and then it just doesn't happen. But worldwide stages in Spring Hill, Tennessee, they took over the old Saturn plant. And so they have space and more space. So the Holey, Michigan project, they were there. They even took a portion of their parking lot and put one of those big pools, to do all the water scenes that they had in there. And so they're able to do tour origination, which keeps there's so many music bands in Nashville, in Middle Tennessee, that area, that in fact TLC, they were the first to use their facilities for tour origination. So they were only supposed to practice there for about a week. They ended up being there a few weeks because they took care of their every need, and it was just a wonderful experience for them. And so, so that one really happened, and he really had funding, and it was for real. You just have to be very careful, because I'm sure you guys have people come out here and say, I'm going to do all this stuff, and just be wary, because sometimes they're real, sometimes they're not. But unfortunately, there's always a poor soul that really sold it, and everybody bought into it, and then it doesn't happen. And I'm not lying. I mean, you end up selling cars. Like they are out of the business completely because no one trusts them anymore. So be careful. And any questions?
If anyone else has a question, raise your hand so I get the mic to you. No.
I should just get out. Sorry. Okay. I'm actually just curious about these incentives and everything that's available. Do you work in conjunction with Bob and PBS and some of the things that are going locally like that?
Not so. I don't believe we have worked together, but I believe WCTI, we do a lot of documentaries, correct? And so documentaries do not qualify for the incentive. And the reason is because you have to go where the subject matter lives. And so that's something that in Nashville or Memphis, the filmmaker's going to go to them, to that person, and film their life or, you know, whatever they're trying to do, but that's why, documentaries don't qualify.
A couple questions. One was, it sounded like for qualifying spend, they all have to be residents of the state of Tennessee. I had heard that there was something else, and I don't know if that's specific to episodic, that allows you to bring in out-of-state talent or crew, and they still qualify for spend. Is there some truth with that?
There was a time where there were certain positions that we just didn't have. And so if we didn't have that and it got approved, maybe, we're talking about maybe 6 positions, but it hasn't been that way for a little while now. So now if maybe if a director insists, you know, on having his certain DP or something like that, maybe that can happen, but it has to be approved on the front end. But yeah, for the F&E tax credit, non-residents can qualify for that. But for the 25% grant, we do want to keep it Tennessee.
The second question that I had was, I understand that there was an additional municipal incentive in Memphis, which is why Young Rock shot there. Do you mind speaking a little bit about that? And is there any chance that maybe we get something like that specific to Chattanooga in the future?
Well, they have a gentleman by the name of Reed Duelberger, and he's with, I believe it's Edge, and they put money, they came up with a plan. Now, Reed would be someone that I recommend that you have come out and talk about how he did that whole process. I don't want to speak to it because, I mean, it was brilliant, and I do think that it can happen for Chattanooga if you're, I don't want to put it on anybody, but if Reed Duelberger, it's REIDDULBERGER, and Lynn Sidler, who's the longest sitting film commissioner in the world, she's been in Memphis over 30 years. She'll be glad to connect you. I can connect you to her, and she can connect you, but we can make that happen.
All right, any other questions? None? Okay. Well, I guess that's it for that, and we appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And we have one more announcement. As some of you know, we work with Jimmy Lee Smith. He has a website called Chattermovies.com, and he does a open screen night quarterly, and we help promote that. So he's gonna announce something real quick.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Jimmy Lee Smith. I do open screen night. I want to talk to you about that. I want to mention I'm so grateful to see some familiar faces and some new faces. These are great people. When I started out, I got the PA, Production Assistant Certificate at Chattanooga State with Chris Willis, and I'm so glad to hear programs like that are coming back. We did open screen night at Heritage House, thanks to Chris Holey, and Chris Dortch helped us do open screen night at his venue. So that segues into open screen night. What we do, and as Gisela was saying, just get out there and make that movie. You got to do it if it's that. She was talking about $50,000 movies. Open screen night, we're talking about like I paid for somebody's lunch movies. But open screen night is where people give us 20 minutes or less shorts. We screen them several times a year. The audience votes on which ones are their favorites, as far as which had the best cinematography, which had the best actors, which was their overall favorite. And now we're ready for the best of 2023. And that is going to be at the Regal Theater out by Hamilton Place on December 3rd. And we'll be posting a lot of stuff about details on that, where to get tickets, and if you want to be in the pre-roll advertising and have a spot there, we'll have some information about that. But I'm looking forward to that. There's some great shorts that we had this year. Everybody probably didn't see all of them. Different crowds come to different venues, but I'm hoping that y'all will come out December 3rd to open screen night and see the best of our open screen night shorts and vote on which one you want to make the best of 2023. Thank you.
All right, so I don't know if am I missing anything, Jeremy? What? Did we get everything? Am I missing anything? Next Sunday is our next mixer, so we kind of we end up rescheduling. We usually have it on the third Sunday of the month, which is today, but we end up sending it next weekend because it's a cinematographer. I forget his name.
Matthew Lynn.
Matthew Lynn.
He's from Chattanooga, but he moved away to California to become a cinematographer.
Yeah, so he's raised in
Which
Chattanooga.
is succeeded.
Yeah.
His film, It Lives Inside, releases in theaters next. I'm loud. Y'all can hear me, right?
He can hear you.
It lives inside rules too.
And it releases in theaters Friday. The cinematographer of the film is going to be here Sunday to give a presentation on how he developed his career and some techniques that he learned along the way. We're really looking forward to that.
So the cinematographer that lives inside will be here next Sunday, talking about cinematography and what he does. He worked with the on this It Lives Inside, where the producers also produced Get Out. Yeah, so
Should be noted that movie actually opens here next Friday. At the AMC.
opens here next Friday.
Yeah. So.
So anyway, you guys are welcome to come out. We're going to be sharing the registration link in the Facebook group and on the public page, and we're looking forward to it, and we hope to see you then. So thank you guys for coming out. And yes.
I'm so sorry.
it's okay.
Can I say one more
Yeah.
thing? And I know I went long. But I do want to say that you guys have a very valuable resource here, and I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. But that's Chris, Holey, Carmen Davis, and Chris Dortch. Honestly, every time someone calls our office and they say that they're looking at Chattanooga even a little bit, I turn them over to them because they are the ones that they are the subject matter experts in this area. And they know everything to the letter. I'm telling you. So please take advantage of calling them whenever you need anything. Don't do your film by yourself when you have resources like our office and Chris and Carmen. And just this Friday, someone was in need of a Carter bus, and
For Speed 3, is it happening?
Tell me. No.
it's not the Speed 3, but it is for a commercial. But they had a lot going on, and I was able to call Carmen and Chris, and they jumped on the phone, were able to help that person get that commercial, and everybody helped out. I mean, everybody jumped in, and it happened very quickly, and that's because of them and their knowledge. So please use them as a resource. Thank you.
All right. So Jeremy reminded me that I did forget a couple things. First of all, we want to thank the organizers, the people who run the Enterprise Center. This is a nonprofit. They let us use the space for free. So this is a huge help for us to be able to put on programs like this. And Deb Socia, I think that's the name, right? Socia, something like that. But yeah, she's over at the Enterprise Center. She's the CEO, and so we want to give a big shout out to her. And also, ever since the first mixer we had in December of 2021, we actually the next month, January of 2022, we developed a board of directors, and we've been doing that ever since. And we've gone through a few board members, and every single one of them has helped in a tremendous way in getting us where we want to be. And so, Guy and Leah, can you come? Are you available to come up here? Okay. Guy and Jeremy, can you come on up? So we recently brought on a new board member, and we'd like to invite her up. This is Carrie Hunter. She's our newest board member. We just voted her in not too long ago, and we'd like to. So we'd like to formally invite you to be on the board of directors. Would you accept? So thank you very much. You want to say something? You're accepting speech?
Anybody that knows me knows that I really don't like talking in public, which is ironic because my job requires it. But I really am excited about this group. I'm excited to continue with the Directors Boot Camp, and I think you guys are awesome, and I'm really happy that this is this. And also, thank you, Landon and the board, for putting on such hard work. I don't think you guys realize how much this work that this took. Jeremy was all over the place, busting his butt to make this happen tonight, and Landon is always busting his butt for this. So I just think they should be recognized for how much work they put in.
I'm going to brag on Carrie and our board. One of the things that gives me hope and gives me a lot of strength to carry on and do the work is because of how many qualified, experienced people support the Guild. Of course, we brought on Guy last month, and Guy, former executive for Sony, has 20 years experience in the industry as a producer. Carrie, I'm going to brag on this one, is a bar certified attorney, which is going to help us quite a bit.
Did you just got your bar, passed the bar not too long, right?
Just passed the bar in Georgia. I just found out at the end of the spring, so I have really just become a lawyer.
When we first started the Guild, it was very much grassroots, and it still is grassroots, and we still are trying to figure out what we're doing. And it's important to us to constantly get your feedback to make sure we're doing it correctly, which was the main inspiration for this evening. And we do want to give you an opportunity to let us know how you think we're doing, any concerns you have, any questions you have. So with that, I'm actually going to go ahead and turn it over to Guy and let him take over our Q&A.
Are we doing more Q&A?
Well, just
Okay.
for us.
Okay, well, so if there is anyone that still has any other questions, it could be either for any of our panelists or us as board members about the direction of what we're doing or anything that you heard tonight, now's a great opportunity to do that. So is there anybody that has questions?
Who here, is this their first event that they've ever attended at the Mixer? Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys are going to change that. Continue to come to more. We do hold Mixers monthly and do feature a professional in some aspect, cinematographer, director, lighting, acting workshops, things of that nature. So we do hope this will not be your last. We're here to build an industry in Chattanooga. And in order to do that, we have to have the entire community come and support it. So,
And Guy, talk a little bit about what your vision is for the local area.
Well, it's amazing to have an event like this tonight because we pulled together so many people, and I have to admit, and I'm very sorry, but as a filmmaker coming from Los Angeles, I didn't know about a lot of these individuals. And so what I think is so great is us moving forward as a city, tying everyone together so that we actually do know who to reach out to, how we can start promoting each other, how we can use each other, and how we can collectively grow what's happening in Chattanooga. We have such a special city. As a producer, I'm constantly driving around going like, we could have shot Breaking Bad right there. We could have shot like other shows here. There's so many amazing environments in this city and in the counties that surround it. It's just really incredible. So there's a lot of opportunity, and it's nice now to start seeing how we're tying all this together. So I think that things are going to start happening very quickly, which is really exciting. And we're thankful for you and for what you're doing now to try and start moving this along for all of us. So thank you very much for that.
And one thing I'd like to mention is all the people behind the scenes that are volunteering, they just kind of come to us and say, hey, I want to help. Like Carl in the back with the hoodie on right there. Raise your hand, Carl.
Carl.
He's come to us and he just said, I want to help in any way I can. So it means a lot. Dave Cobb's over here on this other camera. He's always here helping out somehow. Who else? I know there are other people here. Michelle.
Oh,
you help out a lot.
Lorraine. Good Lord.
Yeah, she's doing
Lorraine hosts our screenwriting workshop, which she took that on herself. And I want to let you know we have such an amazing talent in that, you know, she has so much experience as a director, producer, and screenwriter. And she came to us and was like, I really, really want to see a screenwriting workshop. She put that together herself. And we are so grateful for that because, you know, good film requires great scripts. So, you know, we are looking to expand in what we offer. Carrie here has spearheaded the director's boot camp. And for the most part, it's self-guided, where she'll email out assignments and stuff. We have work days here where, you know, those who are participating in the boot camp can help each other out with their projects, the actors for their, you know, shorts, whatnot. And that's coming along really, really nicely. And I love to see that. And I look forward to building and growing into something even bigger. So, and of course, I do want to shout out to the Talent Trek Agency, who have been supportive of us since day one. And to have an agency that is truly, truly honest, noble, and genuinely cares about the actors that they're working with. I love it because, you know, by all means, we could have had some scammy agency that tries to take money from the actors. They don't do that. They get money from the projects who are looking for casting. The people who sign up from their clients themselves, they treat them so well with such dignity and respect. To have that kind of agency give us support, it's really humbling, actually.
I'd just like to say thank you to this group because, you know, we have been here a long time. We were here a long time before this group was. And we never shot Chattanooga. You know, the Chattanooga clients that we had would always come to Knoxville and film because there was nothing here. But I will say the last, you know, 4 or 5 years, Chattanooga's been getting a lot more stuff. And since this group has been in business now, I'll say that in the last 4 months that we've had more production that we've worked on here than we've ever had. So I think that's all credit to Chattanooga. So granted, it was like a lot of commercials, not a lot of film work, but a lot of commercials. And
Work is work.
Work is work. That's the way we look at it too. But I do want to say they have made a tremendous difference into this community, the whole people that are here tonight, I think. So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, I think that's finally good. Do you have anything else?
I just want to remind everybody, we can accomplish our goal. Our goal is to turn Chattanooga into a film town, to establish an industry, to build it, to grow it. And I know for a fact Chattanooga has that capability. We are a city filled with artistic and creative people, ingenuitive people, intelligent people. We have resources, you know, a state that's supportive. We also have a location that other cities wish they had. We have Atlanta and Nashville right there, which gives us an opportunity to pull in work, to pull in outside workers and to attract them here into this city. We've got a lot of work to do, but we will accomplish our goal. And with your help, it will be a lot easier.
And as a nonprofit organization, although this venue is free, we still have expenses. So if you're able to, you can go to our website and click on the donate button, donate some money to help us with future events. We have to, you know, we spend money on food and it's a little bit of marketing here and there. So that helps out a lot. So filmmakersguild.com, you can go there and check that out. So that's it. Thank you so much for coming here.